We take a look at the U.S. record in Mexico. People will remember the only win came in a friendly at Azteca way back in 2012. I believe, because he's told me this like a million times, our Herculez Gomez was on the field for that game. He wants everybody to know. Mau, what's your expectation for this game, and what is the expectation down in Mexico, including maybe the reaction to these 5 players being pulled out of this game, especially Christian Pulisic, because that's always going to take an edge off this game?
I think I can speak. I'm going to go to your second point first. And I think I'm speaking for everyone in Mexican soccer. It's a little discouraging that the U.S. is not going to have their best team on the field, but it's just proof that this game is way more important for Mexico than for the U.S. men's national team. You guys already got your manager. I heard Kasey, how he was not that impressed with the performance against Panama, but looking from the outside, I'm very jealous of what the program is going to look like under Mauricio Pochettino. But the reaction is it's kind of a downer that is not going to be our best players against the U.S. best players. Now, expectation is massive, and I'll put it this way. This is, I was going to say, a friendly match, and Kasey knows there are no friendlies between Mexico and the U.S. This is a test match. But the feeling is, Seb, the feeling is like a World Cup qualifier, do-or-die type of game for the Mexican national team. I know the World Cup is not in risk because we're hosting it as well. I know there are no points in play, but the way the situation is right now, and the manager is safe. I mean, they're not going to fire Javier Aguirre after 4 poor performances, right? But it's going to be, to me, this is what's going to set the mood of the Mexican national team from now on to probably the next summer. Maybe CONCACAF Nations League Final Four in March. So if the Mexican national team does not win this game, and it doesn't matter the performance, it's about winning. If Mexico does not win this game, the mood around the national team is going to be as toxic as I think I've ever experienced as a professional of this for the past 18 years, or even as a fan for the past 35, 36 years. So I know it's not an official game. It's just a test match. But the expectations are as high as they can get.
Hey, Mal, how's the pressure based off of very rarely are these games played in Mexico? Mm-hmm. So the Federation has said, we want this game in Mexico to give us the best chance to do this. And the new U.S. manager said, we can go down there without our best player because it's Mexico. We don't even need a strong squad. So not only should that be motivation for Mexico, but is it also an added pressure on Mexico saying, if you can't beat this American team, then you're in big trouble.
Now, this to me it's a no-win. If you're Mexico and you beat U.S. without Christian Pulisic, who cares? And if you lose to U.S. without Christian Pulisic, I mean, Aguirre is going to be under even more pressure.
Well, but it's not just Christian Pulisic. It's all the other guys around there.
But that's what people, that's the headline.
That's the headline. That they chose not to take him, yes.
It's like 15 years ago, beating the U.S. without Landon Donovan, right? It doesn't feel the same. It was not the same. Fair. We barely beat Landon Donovan in his time. But anyways, that's a different story. So I'd say this. It is a lose-lose situation. You're 100% right. But also the game against Valencia was a lose-lose situation. Because if Mexico had won the game, you know what this conversation would have been like? Wow, but it's one of the worst teams in La Liga, and they didn't even have their starters available. So, it doesn't really count, right? But it was a draw, and it's, well, this is bad. So the feeling is the same. And Kasey's 100% right. The Federation is looking at this game like, okay, this is the game that is going to change the mood around the game. This is what's going to bring the fans back supporting the squad.
And I just don't see that happening. But it is definitely a must-win situation for Javier Aguirre and the national team. And again, we're speaking about a friendly game. But that's just how toxic the situation inside the team it is right now.
Yeah.
Let's get a quick pick here. Because Mexico, actually, for all that we've just said, according to the odds makers, are favorites.
Yeah, I think they're favorites.
Oh, you do?
I do, yeah.
You think they'll win?
Yeah, I do.
Just down to the fact that the U.S. doesn't have enough
Not have enough
players,
firepower,
top
and
players.
I think the motivation for Mexico is through the roof. But also, is this the stadium where Landon had the little international incident?
It's the same
No,
city.
no.
It's the same city.
Same
different
city.
stadium.
Yeah, same city,
Okay.
different.
Same city,
Just
yeah.
checking.
Mal, what about you? Are you as optimistic as Kasey for Mexico?
Optimistic for Mexico. Get out of here.
Wow.
Hey, Kasey es un
What I
hermano
think and what
mexicano
I
at this
want
point.
are always two different things.
Casey, hermano, ya eres mexicano. That's going to be the chant. I'm not optimistic. Of course not. What are you talking about, Seth? The last time the Mexican national team beat the U.S. in Mexican soil was back in 2009. After that is three draws, one defeat. Those three draws were actually for World Cup qualifiers, so games that actually matter. I think Mexico's going to win. I think they're under a lot of pressure, and usually when Mexican players are under this kind of pressure, they don't deliver. And I'll say this, your primo is going to be happy. My friend Don Vegas had the draw against Valencia at plus 458.
Let's
And
go.
Don Vegas saw those greens flying all over, flying all over the Mexican national team. But I think they're going to win. It's not going to be pretty. And if they don't, please don't call me. I won't be available this Thursday.
There he is, Mauricio Pedroza. Catch him 5 days a week over on ESPN Deportes. Ahora Nunca. We will be live.
I made it.
You did make it
I
because
made it
Photoshop,
back.
they work on
Nice.
Mondays.
Thanks, guys.
We got a special edition of the show coming up tomorrow after the game. Should be right around 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30, shortly after midnight on the East Coast. Make sure to join us in the aftermath of Mexico-U.S. from Guadalajara.